thank you for joining us once again. If you are just tuning in for the very first time, welcome. We are the Dungeon Dudes, and Callie and I post new videos every other Tuesday and every Thursday up on YouTube where we cover everything D&D. So be sure to check out all of our great content over there as well.
You can also join us on Tuesday evenings when we record the campaign live on Twitch. You can check us out from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. You can also check out the video episodes of the show on YouTube or check us out as an audio-only podcast as well.
And we also have some very cool books, which are available now in the world of Drakkenheim, for those interested. Dungeons of Drakkenheim is currently available over at our friends at Ghostfire Gaming. Our publisher has copies of both a hard copy and PDF currently available that you can pick up if you want to run the adventure based on the first season of our campaign for your very self. And while the Kickstarter for our next book, Sebastian Crow's Guide to Drakkenheim, has ended, we are opening up pre-orders now, so if you do want to still get your hands on a copy and all the cool miniatures and other accessories that we made for that project, there still is opportunity to get a late pledge pre-order in at this time. For those of you that did back the Kickstarter campaign, keep an eye on your inbox, because just in the next couple days, and perhaps already once this is uploaded to YouTube if you're watching this in the future, the playtest for our new class, the Apothecary, will have begun, and you'll be able to download that through BackerKit as well. So be sure to follow your inbox, check the news if you did back our Kickstarter campaign, because there's going to be some really cool stuff coming down the pipeline for you very soon. With that all out of the way, though, let us return to find out the fate of Drakkenheim.
Drakkenheim is no more. The devastation which fell upon that accursed place left a kingdom in ruin. Now, horrors lurking in the haze grow ever more great and terrible, while simmering tensions between rival factions boil over into outright war. The power of monarchs, mages, and priests hangs in the balance. 6 unlikely heroes join forces to confront the coming chaos. They shall decide, once and for all, the fate of Drakkenheim.
Welcome back to Drakkenheim. When last we left our heroes before our brief little break there, we were following Veo, Wilhelm, and Paludo, as the three of them were in the midst of a Caspian duel with the Grand Paladin of the Silver Order, Uriel Radley. Over the course of 5 days, they ventured into the ruins of Drakkenheim several times to claim their greatest trophy to bring back to decide the outcome of this duel, the winner of whom would get to dictate several key terms in the negotiations between the people of Westamar and the forces of Illyria and the Silver Order. Our heroes managed to bring in the head of Big Linda, who was the prize beast of the Queen of Thieves, let loose ever since the shenanigans many, many months ago. But they also delved back into the ruins in search of another trophy as a bit of a buffer against a possible big play by Uriel Radley. They explored the ruins of Castle Draken in the process, and in doing so, they sought out new prey. What they found, however, was a little bit unexpected. In addition to recovering the crown of Westamar and several important documents from the vaults of Castle Draken itself, our heroes battled extraplanar forces in the throne room of Castle Draken, forces that indicate that even though this rift remains closed, a presence on the other side is still interested in breaking through to the mortal world. But in the midst of all this, our heroes also discovered the fate of none other than Queen Lenore von Kessel, the previous queen consort to Ulrich IV, the old king. Having decided, finally, to put Lenore out of her miserable state through death, our heroes, in a desperate bid that almost cost Veo her own life, did manage to slay Lenore and have brought her body back from the ruins of Drakkenheim to be laid to rest. There is a bit of a somber attitude amongst the camp with the news of this, for many Hooded Lanterns did give their lives protecting Lenore at various stages, and so much effort had been once put into trying to find a cure for Lenore's monstrous transformation. However, having these angles having come up to no avail, groups are now gathered to lay Lenore to rest. As the Jones, Lenore's family, House Jones of Caspia, and indeed the monarchs of Westamar, as is tradition, cremation is the preferred method of burial for most in Westamar, and the internment of Lenore's ashes would typically be done either in Queen's Park Garden or as befits the Queens of Drakkenheim, or in the monarchical vaults of the castle itself. As all of you decide to make your arrangements, we go to Wilhelm, Veo, and Pluto, and as the three of you gather in Camp Dawn, in Wilhelm's royal tent, with in the presence of both Elias Drexel, who is somberly with his arms crossed. The nearby, they have kind of the wrapped up body of Lenore, not in Wilhelm's tent, but obviously nearby, kept under guard. He sort of awaits what you want to do next. Send it over to you.
I feel like it's appropriate that before we go off on any more adventures or political journeys or to meetings that we lay my aunt to rest and invite those that can make it. I imagine that this, although we would be gathering for Lenore, the Queen of Drakkenheim, I think that as a symbolic gesture, it's meant to represent many people that we've lost in those ruins. Those ruins have taken many soldiers, many heroes, many regular people who used to live there when the meteor first hit. There's been an uncountable loss of life in those ruins, and if Lenore represents the monarchy, the head, so to speak, of Drakkenheim, then perhaps a funeral to lay to rest all of those souls is something that is sorely needed.
Elias Drexel responds and says, "True, true. And there will be many more that we have to mourn before this is all over. You understand that? The best we can do right now, with all that is going on, is a simple ceremony. I can make the arrangements for Ophelia Reed. She's offered to oversee it and perform the rites. I've already put out word for a pyre to be made, and we can collect her ashes and make sure that they are deposited back in the garden or the castle in accordance with your wishes. If you would like to, it is, as you all know amongst our people, it is sometimes done that the cremation follows one's passing quite quickly, but the internment of the ashes may be done as a separate ceremony. That is to for you to decide. Often that might be more fitting in a circumstance where there may be other visitors or guests that would want to pay their respects who can't be present for the cremation.
I think it would be fitting that we hold the first ceremony, but hang on to the ashes until such a time that a larger group can make it to Queen's Park Garden, which I believe was Lenore's favorite location in the city, and lay the ashes at the foot of one of the statues that was erected of her.
Princess must die. Bring me her collar
it
as proof
is,
of the deed, and I'll give you something for your time.
It's
Princess
possible
is
that
usually
in
over at
the
the
midst
Brackwell
of
pumpkin
any of these
patch to the
documents we
east
might
and
be
beyond
able
the
to
McClure
determine
farm.
what
Get her before
Lenore's
she gets
wishes
hungry
might
and
have
comes
actually
back
been.
here.
It's she did have a grotto in Queen's Park. That might be an appropriate place. Indeed, without anyone else closer in family, it is your decision, of course, Wilhelm.
It's been a very long time since I've seen the grotto. When I was much younger, I walked through it. I remember the yellow lilies being quite beautiful there. I wonder if there's any left.
Pluto, you also think the lilies are beautiful, don't
They
you?
are so pretty. I am drawn to
You've
them.
seen them.
I feel them.
Come a little bit more vivacious since you saw them last.
I'd love to see them one last time.
Yeah,
It was quite a beautiful garden in its day.
I think what
deadly.
we're gonna do, I think that's very sweet. You know, we saw her at her worst, but that is not entirely who she was. She was royalty. She was.
I'm not gonna lie, Pluto, and I say this a little quieter. Based on family reunions that we used to have, she seemed more the same than I'd like to admit.
She shot delirium out of her eyes.
Not the delirium out of her. I mean, just she was mean,
Look,
but she was a queen.
This could be a chance, you know, for a lot of people to take a moment to remember all of those. You know, there's a lot of hooded lanterns that aren't with us anymore. There's Illyrians, there's, you know, followers of the Falling Fire who were just mistaken and misjudged, and they went too deep, and there's a lot of innocent people that are gone in the city. And maybe, you know, maybe she isn't this shining beacon, but it could be a chance for someone to say something, not just for her, but for everyone. Like Elias is saying, that there's room for mourning.
What she was to me as my mean aunt is irrelevant. What she represented to the city and to the people is more important. We won't be talking about how she put coal in my stocking for Christmas. We won't be talking about the way she treated everybody who wasn't her serving staff. What we will.
Just know that, you know, when she treated someone badly, it usually meant that she thought they had a lot of potential to live up to. That they had a lot of responsibility, and she wanted just to shape them into what she expected them to be. She was especially nice to me, so she probably didn't really think that I was going to count to anything.
Food, probably.
But if she's mean to you, it kind of meant that she thought you were expected to be something.
Or it might be that she didn't necessarily get along very well with my father, and I was the second child of a cousin. So I don't know what I really was to her, but regardless of any of that, family is family, and it's something that I think is very important, regardless of your relationship with them. it's my duty, and it's important that I respect and honor who she was, what she represents, and not just for me, but for Westamar.
Very well. I understand that Ophelia Reed is making some arrangements around the central pyre, and we will have the ceremony at sunset. With that, if there's anything else that I can do to be of service in the meantime, please let me know. Ophelia Reed will handle the rest from here.
One thing is you could perhaps send a message to the Jones family in Caspia and let them know about the ceremony, and that at a time that is convenient for them, anybody that they wish to come to take part in the spreading of the ashes in Queen's Park Garden is welcome to make the trip down, and we will wait for members of her family before we do that part of the ceremony.
Very well. As Elias Drexel turns to go, one of the lookouts from the hooded lanterns rushes up to the command tent and says, Lord Commander Vale.
Yes.
Yes, sir, ma'am. Lord, the guards have arrested a man who's been snooping around the edges of the perimeter.
Snooping. Like, what does he look like? What's a name?
He was yelling something about didn't we know who he was, and that he had a very important message, but he's been acting very rude and very indignant. So we beat him and we've thrown him in the brig.
That'll teach him.
Good job.
That'll learn him some manners.
Regardless of who this is, you don't take any beef from anyone who's being rude. I've taught you well.
He looked like just a common ruffian with this very sneering accent. It was very, very, very rude, but he said he was here about the Queen.
Like, okay. And specifically, he needs to talk to the Lord Commander. Like, my time is very valuable. Why do I need to talk to this prisoner?
He was just barging in and making quite a scene. We just thought that it's been your protocol that we should let you know of anything like this that's occurred. So
it's true. I was just testing you.
If Veo, if this is beneath you, I could go beat him up some more and see if I can get some information.
No. Let's go together and
You
beat 'em
guys
up
are
together.
forgetting
You're
rule
right.
number 59.
I forget most of your rules, but yes, remind me.
The mouth you beat can't speak.
No, well, you could be anything, be kind. Why are we beating up a random person who was asking?
Because he was being rude, and we do not.
Yeah, you have a rule about rudeness, right?
Yeah.
In fairness, your liege, he was snooping around the perimeter. He didn't approach or announce himself. It looked like he was trying to sneak in.
Yeah, that'll get you beaten. That'll.
All right. I think we better go see who this rude prisoner is and see if Pluto needs to beat him up anymore.
He can speak his truth in front of Ignatius.
Oh yeah.
I suppose I'll come too, and now I'm just curious who this prisoner is.
Okay.
No,
but
you don't need to worry yourself
steps-
about these. Plus,
Oh,
you're going to
please.
probably hold back our beatings.
I've been doing nothing but politics for days. Let me go look at the prisoner.
I just want something else.
I just
need
want to
a
do
change of
something,
scenery.
please.
All right. Well, we'll let you like
Fine, well, you
poke
can...
him with your rapier a little bit.
Thank you.
Okay.
So there hasn't really been much need to keep prisoners in the camp overall, but since the since the Hooded Lanterns don't keep griffins, what the Silver Order had used as a griffin's tower has been used for various types of storage and has been regarded as the most secure place to keep any sort of prisoners that the camp does have. So you head up to the tower of that was once the Griffin's Tower of Camp Dawn, and there are several guards posted about, and you can hear a voice sneering, "When I get out of this, you
Oh no,
get it.
Blackjack Mill.
Don't you know who I am? Like, when they know, they're gonna know who I am as soon as they do, and you're just gonna be out of a job. You'll be lucky if you keep your head after all this, buddy."
I walk in and I say, "Yeah, don't you know who he is?" And I look at my guards, like I expect them to know.
The two Hooded Lantern soldiers, they turn around, and one of them, she says, "He's been very rude and has been insisting and hasn't shut up since he got here. My apologies, Lord Commander. I was considering cutting out his tongue."
Yeah, I mean, rudeness does often require punishment, but you know what? Excuse his rudeness.
He was gonna.
She
was gonna cut my tongue off after I traveled halfway across the continent to be here on very, very important business. I have been running for days and days and days to get back here, and then not did I get back into my favorite digs, and not even did I get to sit down and have myself a little bit of gin, then I get told that I have to come here, and I'm just trying to, don't shoot the messenger, right? Like, and the guard punches him in the stomach, and he groans.
And I say, enough violence against. We will treat him with respect, and I mean, to be honest, cutting off his tongue probably wouldn't stop him from saying what he needs to say, so it'd be futile.
If I may, guards, did he have any gold on him?
Well, yes, he did. He had this. These are the weapons that he had with him, and he did have a coin purse with him as well, too. In fact,
I'll take that coin purse, please.
It is your coin purse.
Well, technically, I think we actually gave the money back to Sebastian.
Yeah.
But we don't know that yet.
Yeah.
So, but Wilhelm doesn't know that. So Wilhelm's taking the coin purse, and yeah, it might be my coin purse, but with different gold in it.
Yeah.
But how much is in it?
About 300 gold pieces in various coins.
Blackjack Mel, consider this interest for stealing from the king. What's the punishment for stealing from a potential king? Usually
cut off,
death, probably execution.
Things.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the very least, in Westamar, the punishment for robbery would escalate anywhere from banishment to branding to see. This is the thing. Westamar is not really a nation that has prisons. There's jails and dungeons for keeping prisoners on a temporary basis, but the judicial system in Westamar is more or less based on various forms of torture and punishment that escalate anywhere. And strictly speaking, most thieves will have their hands, one or both of their hands, amputated.
I think I'm like purposely being coy in the way I'm like, I want him to think that we're like, I'm kind of dangling the idea of execution in front of him.
No. Please, I do all my work using my hands. If don't take my hands, you might as well just kill me. And please, honestly, just don't kill me. I really enjoy being alive, and I don't entirely repent for my wicked ways. It's my upbringing, I had a terrible relationship with my father. I lacked good parental guidance. I am not in any way accountable or in control for any of my actions. Please, it wasn't me. I'm a victim of the system.
I understand that. So, I mean, public hanging might be. You know, the executioner is still around. We could just tie your arms and legs
Yeah.
together
I
and
would
toss
really,
you into
really
Slaughterstone
rather
Square.
You know, listen. I have been sent here as a very important dignitary to assure you that, to bring a little bit of a message. So, don't shoot the messenger. Is that what they say? Isn't that like a rule or something?
I'm not shooting you because you're a messenger. I'm going to shoot you for other reasons, but I'll give the floor back to the
So
Lord
you're just
Commander.
going to convince a potentially innocent man without any evidence whatsoever. This is the kind of thing that happens when you have a monarchy. I mean, this is just... It is...
You stole my gold, and we caught you red-handed.
Did I steal your gold, or did I just take back what you took through taxes? I mean, taxation is theft.
I don't know why I'm arguing.
During this argument, unsheath Ignatius. Silence!
No. I mean, that sword, it slices and it cauterizes the wounds both at the same time. Please don't.
Blackjack Mel, you will obey the truth that is this sword that brings the light. Tell us your reasons for being here. And mind you, be truthful, or we will probably beat you up more.
I'm here. I can't lie? What is that? This is the worst thing ever. It's like taking a fish out of water.
Yes, well, you are that fish out of water, and if you want to go back into the ocean, you'll tell us while you're here.
There's a very important person who I work for who would like an invitation to the ceremony tonight for personal reasons.
What are these personal reasons? And who is this? Who is this that is requesting an audience? A ticket, a seat.
Well, I mean, it's only appropriate that a queen be present for the funeral of another queen, right?
You always find ways to skim it. What are the personal reasons? What is she up to?
I'll be completely honest with you. I have no idea what she means by that.
I know.
We're talking about the Queen of Thieves, right? This
Cat.
Yeah.
Supposedly Katerina von Kessel, right? Supposedly my cousin, in which case this would be her mother's funeral.
The thing is that, to be honest, she could show up without being invited, and we would have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that she's requesting it tells me maybe there's less layers to it. Maybe this is this like an honest, did she have a great relationship? Where's Sebastian? I need him.
Oh, more rain.
I have very little run-ins with the supposed Queen of Thieves. The only information I've really been given is that she's maniacal and evil and has plans all over the place, but also that apparently, according to rumor, she's of blood relation to me. And so that is something worth considering, and I do have a rule that the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. If she is notorious for coming uninvited to places, perhaps we can control the situation better if she's offering to play by the rules with us.
But why would she need an invitation if she could just show up in the crowd to actually mourn, to actually be there for the reasons she wants? No, she wants us to know. She wants to be center of attention.
There's a warning about installing this card. Huh. Well,
She has every right to be there. It's her mother.
that sounds weird.
I truly have been tricked and defeated by her so many times, yet something just feels so more level playing. I don't know why. Why do I feel inclined to attempt?
I mean, I'm at a loss here. You two are going to have to tell me how dangerous of a situation this is. The stories I've heard about her, she was cunning and crafty as a kid. But she was just my cousin, and we got along relatively okay. The stories that I hear now, I mean, in a weird, twisted way, they kind of line up with who Katarina was, but we're related. I can't. It's an opportunity for me to make the call myself. I've never met this apparent Queen of Thieves, and I won't lie. I have kind of been hoping to meet a living, non-monstrous family member for over a decade in hopes.
How can you say she's not monstrous?
I don't know.
What? How do you mean it's difficult? No, but installing isn't easy. Isn't it just downloading, go to discord.gg, press install, and make an account? Or even only on your phone? You can even launch it or just use a web browser, I think. You don't need to install it. Is that true? Is you say actually giving warnings about Discord? Well, I found that US government report reveals how Discord, Roblox, Reddit, and other cooperate with the FBI and Homeland Security over content like user-generated recreations of mass shootings. Is that the one you mean? What kind of device are you using? Is it a Windows PC or Mac or even Linux can have Discord? Oh, you don't need to join. Since I do post on YouTube as well, so. Well, as far as I understand, as long as you use a .com page, everything goes through that supercomputer somewhere in USA that scans everything. No. Luckily in Europe, data surveilling stuff is much more strict, I guess, than in USA.
Her.
She has done so many monstrous things for this city, at the city, to this city, without caring. If she really cared about Lenore, she would have tried to do something when we found her in the ruins. She hasn't attempted anything to try to save her. Not that we've seen. And listen, she could show up, she could do the thing. Why is she requesting an official invitation to this? She could just show up. No, what she wants is a spotlight.
What she wants is to, by asking for an invitation, is that not showing respect? I
don't trust it.
I'm only working from my knowledge here.
All I've ever seen is her twist something that we're doing into something for her. I don't trust it.
If she shows up here, we could have an entire regiment of guards. We could take all of her belongings from her. Is this enough, or is this not enough?
She's so slippery. Even having a regiment of guards wouldn't necessarily.
That's the thing. I think Veo, I understand your hesitation, yet the fact that she's sent Mel and she's asking, it feels very formal. And maybe it is her opportunity. This could be that that place of truce, and the we fight our battles out there, but when it comes to the mourning, everyone is welcome to clear their dead and their wounded.
The funeral could be it's meant to be neutral ground. You would have to be some sort of evil to pull some sort of trick at your own mother's funeral.
Yeah, he's right. We shouldn't trust her. No,
See, you get what I'm going for, Pluto.
I know.
Listen,
I think
if we officially invite her, fine. I am skeptical. Know that is where I'm put my piece down. I am skeptical, and I hope that I don't have to say I told you so.
I hope so too, because it'll really burn. It'll really burn deep.
I will either way. I'm going to learn a new lesson. A new experience often leads to new lessons. Rule number 16. And I would like to see my cousin again and see how she's fared in all of this. Perhaps this is a chance for reunion.
So
Perhaps...
is that a yes?
Yes, it's a yes, Mel. It's a yes. She's invited.
Mel, yes.
Mel.
Yes, to stand to the side.
No.
There is one other issue, Mel. You are still under arrest for robbing the King of Westmar.
Well, I mean, that's I'll show up at my scheduled court date, I promise.
We don't have a court. You can inform us where where Katerina is, and we can send one of our messengers to invite her, but I think it's safer if we keep you here.
Willem, when did he rob you?
That was a while back when we were coming through town. On our way to my hometown, on the way to Kesselholm, we stopped in on the outskirts of Drakkenheim, and suddenly my coin purse was gone, and this fellow right here was seen at the scene of the crime. People seemed to know who he was. He made some sort of argument onto why my money was deserving in his hands or something, and he ran off. And I've had 0 gold in my inventory since that time.
I mean, you have lots of gold now, but didn't we just get lots of the...
Aren't you super rich?
Yeah.
That's not the point. He robbed me and needs to stand. He's
It's in his
respectfully,
nature.
Wilhelm, I think this is, you have a lot on your plate. We have to deal with the dukes. We have to, we after the funeral, we have to go settle this duel. Like we're
What does that have to do with keeping Blackjack Mel imprisoned?
Well,
he's
Blackjack
a-
Mel owing you a debt.
That could
Right,
be
Mel?
helpful.
You got your gold back already. We're even as far as I'm concerned.
Even we keep him in prison, and we have a bargaining chip against this alleged Queen of Thieves. We have her right hand imprisoned.
I mean,
That's leverage.
I mean, if you think that I'm a bargaining chip against the Queen of Thieves, you should never play poker in your life.
Aren't you her right hand?
I mean, I'm a very important individual. That's not to say anything of that, but I'm just saying, as far as if I'm the only card you're holding against the Queen of Thieves, I think you better fold this one, boss.
Now,
Well,
how
then,
much gold did you get back from him, Wilhelm?
300.
300. Mel, I think your life is worth much more than 300 gold, and
I completely agree with you.
I think if we let you go, 300 gold really doesn't cover the debt you're getting yourself into by us not killing you for stealing from the king.
Veo, you're really thinking of letting him go. We have the right hand of this alleged Queen of Thieves, who we're going to invite into our camp. I know that I was just saying that I'd like this to happen, but I feel like we're just giving away leverage here.
Wilhelm, let the Lord Commander dish out some punishment here.
Mm-hmm.
Lack thereof?
So, Mel,
Please
what
don't.
is your life worth to you?
I mean, my life is worth everything to me.
Hmm.
But I mean, you just took all the gold that I have. Like you literally have my life savings.
You're probably gonna go steal more gold. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but what's a couple hundred gold between friends, right? I mean, we go way back. I used to be a manager. Come on, like, we had good times. I mean, we know each other, right? Like,
I mean, that was fun.
we
He
have
grows
good
on you. That's the problem.
We
He
have good
grows on you.
times, right? Like, you don't need to like cut off my hands or my head or both.
You don't need to.
anything like that. Exactly. You don't need to. Thank you so much.
Mel, I have to ask you.
I don't usually have a lot of respect for people on the other side of the law, but you Veo, you really impressed. Thank you so much for letting me go.
I think your life is worth some information, don't you think?
Yeah.
Mel, I bet you know something.
Tell the sword, Mel. Tell the sword what you know.
What do you think? What do you want? You haven't asked.
We need a little something. We need a little something to grease the chains that are going to be falling off your legs there, so you can freely leave this old griffin rooster. If you want to get out of this tower,
And you know what we'll even do?
You gotta pony up.
Listen, we'll even give you back that 300 gold if you can get us some information.
What kind of information are you looking for? Okay, now you're speaking my language. You're sweetening the pot, All right, so what kind of information are you looking for?
It's your life and 300 gold.
I like the sound of this deal. What do you need?
But you're only getting the gold when you get us the information. Got it?
Yeah.
What's the Queen of Thieves?
We had some robots. Some mechanical fellows come after the king. I want to know who sent them.
All right, I wasn't expecting that one. I'll be perfectly honest, I wasn't. But I'll take that deal. I'll take that.
What assurance do we have that this sniveling crook would be able to gain any sort of information on robot assassins?
I'm very well connected. I am very well.
He's got his hand on the pulse. You know, he's
you know, I know people. You know, I'm smart. I can do things.
You're talking to the soul.
Oh yeah, as he says that, he tries to say he's smart, and he can't. I'm smart.
He's crafty, is what he is.
Crafty.
Vale,
He's slippery.
I just want to make sure I have this straight. You're going to give him the gold back, unlock his chains, let him walk out of here, and you expect him to come back with this information.
Of
No,
course.
no, no. I expect him to get the information, and then we give him the gold. Fine, I'll give you half now, half later.
Wow,
No, don't
that was
sweeten
so easy. Yes.
No!
It's
Lord
too late.
Commander.
No, there's no take backsies. Don't you have a rule for that about like no take backsies or something like that? Aren't you full of rules?
I have
Listen,
a rule. Rule
then.
88, show mercy to those who earn it, and you have done nothing to earn my mercy.
Then I will give you. I'll give you all of my gold of what I have in order to do it. Well, you
why
can
are
keep
you
your gold
paying him?
because he does provide
Because
valuable
I'm
services.
a professional, and he
Exactly.
tries to say the word professional.
He's what is it? He's
A
a
criminal.
long way in his craft.
I have a
as-
very particular set of skills.
yeah.
I don't trust this man as far as I can throw him. I
Oh,
trust
neither
him.
do I.
Well, to be
Then-
honest, your strength score is what, like 8?
Yes.
Well, there you go.
And I
could throw him
don't
pretty far.
trust you, but to let you walk out of here with even the Lord Commander's going to give you gold to walk out of here. He's not coming back with any information. He's just going to leave with the gold.
Wilhelm, this is why we didn't want you to come. You know, it's you. This is part of the royal process. You have to delegate these tools and these features, and honestly, you're undermining Vale in front of the criminal. Like, I think it's important that you show strength and leadership when you're choosing individuals.
Yeah, Your Majesty, how dare you undermine your subordinate?
I'm just saying that this, like, you know, let Vale work. I think she's onto something. Respectfully.
Don't worry, Wilhelm. We got this. We got this.
Respectfully.
Listen, and we also we've dealt with him before. Yeah,
We made you a lot of money.
we did make.
No,
you a
I'm
lot
pretty
of
sure we
money.
made you some good coin anyways back in the day.
Oh, I mean, you know, unfortunately, I don't really have a good recollection of what I spent all that money on. I'm sure it was probably a good idea at the time.
Hmm.
All right,
So what do
then.
you say?
I'm free to go, and you're going to give me 150 gold to get you some information, then 150 more when I come back with it. Sounds great to me.
All right. When are you gonna come see us?
Well, I mean, you know, getting information takes time. You can't, you can't. What was that thing? You got to be patient when the bread rises. You know what is that phrase? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But anyways, good information takes time. You know. I can
all
come
right.
back to you tomorrow, but I'm not going to have any information for you. I could come back to you in 2 weeks, and who knows? I might have good information for you. I might have better.
When you have that information, send a letter to one of the soldiers in Thieves' Camp.
All right. Sounds good to me.
All right. And I open up
Now,
the gate.
I got one other order of business though. I'm supposed to let my boss know like the deal, like you know what she gonna expect when she comes to this thing tonight.
I think it should be it's formal, and you know, we're not in it for any tricks. We're not in it for any. We're not looking for a fight. This is just a place to pay your respect.
All right.
Will she abide?
I mean, she'll abide, but I mean, It sounds pretty generous, I suppose.
She will come unarmed and alone to the... Where are the gates? The north, south, east?
Yeah, if we're looking at Camp Dawn specifically, I think I have it on. Yeah, so if we're looking at Camp Dawn specifically, then this is the layout of Camp Dawn, and so they're gonna perform the rite at the pyre.
What direction makes the most sense for her to come from? Where was Blackjack Mel caught snooping?
Blackjack Mel was caught snooping around the south, the southwest.
All right. She will come to the south gate, unarmed and alone. We will have Hooded Lantern soldiers at the gate, awaiting her arrival. She will announce herself. A group of Hooded Lanterns and the three of us.
Just instead of questing, I'm just killing mobs and selling
or anything of that sort.
To earn silver.
She will answer some questions for us within the truth created by Ignatius. Then she will be allowed to attend the funeral. If she would like to say a few words, she may. She can pay her respects. Then she will be escorted after the funeral has completed to the south gate, and she can depart from there.
Sounds good to me. So, can I go now?
Yeah, cool, Tamara.
Yeah, you can go, Mel.
Can I have my knives back?
Someone will escort you to the end of the encampment and give them back to you.
All right. Sounds good.
Mel, just remember how generous we've been today.
Oh, I will.
Too generous.
Too generous. But you know what? We expect good information in return.
Don't worry. If it's any consolation, the sucker's born every minute.
Not a consolation.
That's not. Mel!
Mel?
Alright.
And with that, the Hooded Lanterns, they collect. They go to a nearby chest that's filled with like contraband and stuff like that, and produce a couple daggers, and Mel's like, "That wasn't my knife. That was my knife." And they sigh, put another dagger in his hands, and lead him.
What? Going on with the performance?
He grows on you.
No.
He yeah, every time I see him, I get a little bit more
There we go.
understanding.
Pluto, Feo, I'm terribly sorry, but I am not excited for
Look.
when I have to say I told you so about Blackjack Mel.
Leo's right.
He's gonna get you some good info. Listen.
We need to figure out
He
who's
is going
after.
to backstab us the first instance he gets. I do not trust him. He is a liar. He is a thief. And we just let him walk out of here with 150 golden daggers. I don't like feeling like I'm the bad guy. This is not my usual territory, but I did not expect us to be this generous. I've been wondering about capturing this alleged Queen of Thieves' right hand for some time, ever since he robbed me. I thought that it would be an incredible leverage piece, and he walked right into our hands, and we just let him go with gold and daggers in tow, with the promise of him coming back with information.
Wilhelm, I've been around thieves my entire life since the city went, you know. I think the thing you need to know about a thief is once he's caught, he's only worth the information he can give, and well, Mel's worth more out of a cell than in one.
I still don't know about that, but I guess time will tell.
Mm.
I think, you know what? As much as he is a thief and a liar, the one thing that means the most to Mel is a prophet. And he'll come back for his gold. And if he doesn't, well, he got 150 gold. But he still owes us.
Well, rule number 97, never argue with the wisdom of those who know more than you. You two know Blackjack Mel more than I. My instances with him have not been pleasant, and I don't see any redeemable qualities within that man. I see nothing useful or trustworthy other than his connection to other people.
Well, just because someone is irredeemable doesn't mean they're not unworthy
Not useful.
and not useful.
I feel like we were a tad generous and we could have leveraged more out of him.
Well,
But-
we have to prepare. We know the queen is coming. The queen of thieves, of course. Once he reports back, the question is, I mean, it is a burning question. Who sent those assassins? And I never thought of it. Bear, you're right. We need to figure out who your enemies are. I know you have a lot of them right now. I know you've made some choices that a lot of people don't really agree with, and we need to get out in front of these because, you know, it's the Queen of Thieves. We can, at least we can predict, like, she's not out to kill you as far as we know. But if these other people, we have no idea what they're capable of or what they're after.
Yeah, let's run to the tent. I will get more rested XP.
Surprise already, and I think if we're going to continue to protect you, yeah, we need to take some chances. We need to take some risks, and I think the Blackjack Mel risk may pay off.
Naturlig pause,
We might
eller?
need to do more because
Hmm?
we don't know what else is out there.
Ja, men
Naturlig pause.
Well,
ja.
Så slipper han
at
å
this
gjøre
point, we'll
litt
just
annet.
hope that Blackjack Mel is a man of his word. And
Yeah,
You have to expect him not to be.
I
That's
do.
that's why we
Surprise
have
you.
that's why we have old Ignatius here.
And Veo, I know that we're inviting this, my cousin, the alleged Queen of Thieves, into our midst tonight. If it's okay with you, you know, if you think something's a trap, it probably is. So I would suggest that we have archers in every tower during
Hvordan er det man
this
fikk den der chicken
Not
betten
worried
da?
about her making a move per se. In that
I
way.
Westfall
What I'm concerned about
er det
is
den
her getting
andre
influence that
sånn
will
farm-greia
feel
du
for her
løper
as the
forbi.
daughter of the queen we are
Kan du kjøpe sånn chicken feed?
today. What move she'll try to make in front of the soldiers and the people who are loyal to the crown and that family.
Ok. Var det ikke en man kunne ta emote på, så fikk man noe...
claim that she has to the throne.
Jo, for
She
å
is
starte questet.
persuasive,
Ah, ok.
and she, in front of a crowd, can do a lot more damage than swords and arrows.
Do you think it's a mistake to invite her here?
I don't know. We'll see, but
I guess with this
knows?
entire situation, we'll see. We'll see if Blackjack Mel keeps up to his word. We'll see if the
Ja,
Queen of Thieves
teltet er
betrays
fortsatt.
us. We'll see if she makes a play. I'm uneasy about all of this.
but hopefully the focus will stay on Lenore as it should be.
As it should be.
Han er så åpen greier, ass. Det...
Ophelia Reed and the other
Trenger ikke å gå tilbake i butikken og selge, liksom. Du kan bare få penger med en gang.
Lenore's body for cremation. And it is not too long after Mel leaves that a peddler shows up at the gates of the compound.
Well, you see my rested experience is increasing quite fast.
A brown cape, a hood drawn up, and they have a little peddler's wagon with a few baskets with them. And the guards placed around the around the south gate say they deliver the message to you, Veo, that the guest is here.
Well, we should go greet them. And I walk out.
Okay. As you walk out the south gate, you see the form of the peddler. It's a woman. The cloak drawn up, just disguising most of her features. And she says, "Hi, Vale. I am here for the ceremony tonight. I brought a few things with me, and I was hoping it would be okay for me to do so."
What things have you brought with you?
You're free to examine them. It would mean a lot to Lenore if you brought them in and brought them to the Flamekeeper.
I want to examine what's in the... anything.
Wrapped in silk in the in one of the baskets is an immaculate black masquerade gown with a porcelain mask, like with a plume of feathers with silver and golden trim. And as you look at the dress inside, the figure says to you, "I remember how much my mother lived for the masquerades in Castle Draken. And I think that this was her favorite gown."
I don't see why we can't bring it in. But you understand why we don't trust you.
I do.
All right. I'll get some of the guards to help you bring it in.
På level 13 så kan vi bruke Dungeon Group Finder da.
I also have something for my cousin. But it can wait till after the ceremony.
Is it also in the trunk?
Mm-hmm.
Wagon?
Yes. It's locked. You can take it, but only I can open the box.
Okay. I'm gonna put it not around everybody else, please.
That's fine.
Perhaps we'll want to check that for traps.
I don't have anything else with me. You don't have to worry. I haven't brought any weapons.
Well, standing under a tent, gaining arrested XP.
Can I approach just a little bit closer? I want to make out her features. Like, do I recognize her?
It's not a
As you
tent.
approach-
What can I call this? Hva kaller man
She says...
Hva kaller man det gapahuk, på en måte?
But you still recognize that precocious
Hva sa du?
young
Gapahuk
woman
det
that
er
you
ikke helt
knew
gapahuk.
growing up.
Gapahuk har jo
I
en
mean, probably
vegg.
the last time that you saw her, she would have been
Gapahuk er som regel bare en
maybe
skrå vegg.
12.
Nedenfra.
Like, you hadn't seen her even years before the meteor fell.
Faen, jeg kan ikke snakke før jeg er level 10.
But yeah, you recognize her. She's grown up a lot. She's not
Can't
the
chat
weird
until
looking
I'm level 10 here on this server.
all those years ago. But you do recognize her face. She's quite pale.
I walk up to only a few inches in front of her, and I kind of stare her in the eyes for a moment. Have your dueling skills improved?
Wouldn't you like to know?
There's a little smile on Wilhelm's face, and he actually grabs her and hugs her.
She is immediately surprised by this, but she hugs back. And she says, "This is probably the worst family reunion ever."
I'm sorry it's under these circumstances, Kat, but I must tell you, I've gone an entire over a decade thinking that every single member of my family was dead. And I know that we used to spar back in the day, and not much of a relationship beyond the occasional duel or family reunion, but it is so good to see another Von Kessel alive.
Yeah, it is. I'm really... I'm glad that there's still some family left. Thank you for letting me come to see my mother one last time. It's funny how when we grow up, we tell ourselves that we'll still have time to visit our parents, that we'll have time to say the things that we wanted to say, that we'll have time to make amends, that we'll have time to make it right. And how we let our own ambitions and our own priorities get in the way
En som selger
of making the time to see our parents, of making the time. And there was a moment when I thought I wouldn't have any chances again, and then it seemed like I might. And I let my ambition get in the way of being able to see my mother and talk to her before she died.
You know, Kat, I would say be happy for the time that you did get. You had a good amount of time. We were both robbed of our parents before we were ready. There's been nothing but tragedy in the Von Kessel family for many, many years, and if anybody can understand what it means to lose the people you care about and have to live with that weight and that guilt, perhaps we have more in common than either of us might think. And I've heard stories, I'm not going to lie. You have a reputation, but I hope tonight can be about family and perhaps two Von Kessels sharing the first moment that two Von Kessels may have in a very long time.
With respect, I'm just here to pay my respects. I don't need to make this all about me.
I appreciate that.
Well, where are you going to lock me up?
If you don't mind, we will search you, but if you have no weapons on you, you're not locked up. We can head to the fire and prepare for the ceremonies together.
My rapier's in the cart. You can watch that for me, Wilhelm, but no one else.
Does she hand me her rapier?
She gestures to it in its case.
I grab it and I actually I don't pull it all the way out, but I kind of pull it out a bit just to examine the quality, the make. I want to compare swords.
It's a way better sword than yours.
Oh, mine's a magic elven sword. Hers is better.
Hers is also a magic elven sword. So
you hear me look at it, and there's a subtle, darn. And I put it back, and I try to I turn. I'm like, it's a pretty good sword.
Well, actually, no. Her sword actually isn't. I'm thinking of the artwork. It is an academy fashioned rapier, with a delirium tip, with the delirium decorations embedded onto the hilt. Who knows if she got it from the academy or if she stole it or whatever, but it's as far as you've started to see these new generations of academy forged delirium weapons, and this is as far as the work that goes into this one, it's something else.
I look at her and I try to hide how cool her sword is, and I just say, it's a pretty good sword. Perhaps at some point in the future, you owe me another duel.
Perhaps. Well, shall we begin?
Very well.
There is a solemn procession as several of the Hooded Lantern soldiers and the few guests in attendance. There's Eric von Molenberg, and as well as Elias Drexel and a few others that have been part of the operation that all gather here. And Ophelia Reed and some of the Flamekeepers and Acolytes from Emberwood Village have come to construct the pyre for the cremation. And as they do so, as is the standard amongst the followers of the Sacred Flame, you gather in a
There's so many players here. It's crazy.
And stand and usually join hands in rings. And Ophelia Reed speaks, and she says, "Now, today, we confer to the flame a beloved queen, Lenore, the wife of the great Ulrich IV von Kessel, scion of House Jones, mother to Leonard, Katerina, and Eliza, patron of the great opera houses, lover of the arts. We think of all those who gave their lives in her name, and all those who fought and gave much in her honor. Today we confer her spirit towards the flame in the hopes that in her journey through the long shadows that seem never-ending, she will find the light on the other side. Her spirit will go to that place where dawn breaks over the shadows and join that brilliant chorus that sings the song of silver and gold with the flame. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Lenore von Kessel, may you be with the flame and in our hearts always. And with that, Ophelia Reed lights the pyre, and the flames burn. There is, I suppose, a hymn is sung, one of traditional passing, one that represents that passage. And as the sun sets through the cloudy skies around Drakkenheim, the brilliant pyre takes the light. That symbol that is so core to the sacred flame, that a brilliant flame holds back the night, even the one that seems endless. As the fire burns, if anyone else would like to speak, you may.
Yeah, I'll say a few words. Haven't really prepared anything, but I think it's appropriate. You know, Lenore was a great woman. She represented a lot in this city. Too many times have I seen this city take things away from us. Not just the Von Kessel family, but to everybody. Every hooded lantern here today, the Lord Commander, even Caspian royalty, Illyrians, all of us here today have witnessed what this city can take from us. Lenore stood as a symbol when she was alive. And in her death, she continues to be a symbol of the loss and the change that occurs in the city of Drakkenheim. For in its heart, this city has a cancer that is spreading. And it will touch those that we love. And it will change them. And it is our duty as the children, fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, cousins, whatever we are, to those that are being lost or will be lost. It is our duty to do what we can to protect what's left. I do not know what fates lie ahead for Drakkenheim, or for Von Kessel, or any of us. But my aunt, Queen Lenore, and the ceremony tonight will stand as a symbol. The flame that we light tonight, that will see us through this night, hopefully we can carry in our hearts as we move forward, so that we can make it through whatever darkness is coming.
Vale,
Thank you.
Pluto, do either of you want to say anything?
Lenore was almost family. She was a representative of the people and of all the people. She was, when we found her, it was a sight to behold. You know, for a moment there was this glimmer that we could bring someone back. Someone that had spent years in this place. And there was this thought that, yeah, we can save her and save everyone, but what we found was not her. She truly left us many years ago, and I think it's I think what we have to do is embrace what this place is now and what it means, and it's going to be different for what we have to do, but that's beside. Today is just about mourning her loss, and not just hers but everyone's. I think we've all lost something in this city, and I look to reflect on that, and I hope she has finally found peace and she will find the light.
Vale, anything you'd like to say?
I think I'm going to speak to the lanterns. Many of you feel heavy in your hearts today, knowing that our queen is being put to rest. You all have fought for her legacy, her family, and you have done a very honorable job in keeping her memory and her legacy alive. You do her a great honor of being here today and fighting for what Drakkenheim used to be. We will go forward today. Remember her family, and honor that going forward to make sure that we can bring back the Drakkenheim that we want, that we see the future here that we're trying to build through the lineage of the Von Kessels. We may have lost a queen, but we fight for the monarchy.
As the flames roar, the ceremony concludes, and the assembled soldiers and the few others who are here to pay their respects go back to their positions and allow the flames to die down. Some stay watching the flames. Katarina herself sits close by the flames and watches them intently.
I feel like I'm not going to say any words to her, but I go and sit next to Katarina and just watch the flames with her.
She watches them for a long time, until the point where they go from roaring pyres to you can see that they're beginning to flicker down and disperse out into just like the flame is still burning, but it's past like that roaring bonfire phase and more just into the that slow burn part of the cremation. She says, when I was young and growing up, my mother and I did not get along at all. I wanted to do cartwheels and climb the castle walls and duel soldiers, and I wished that I could go to the fencing classes with my brother. But there was one thing that I loved about my mother, and that was the masquerades and the balls that she had, where everybody wore brilliant gowns and clothing, and behind the masks that they all wore, anybody could be anyone. Nobody knew. Everyone was just in that moment, dancing, spinning, glittering. I loved all the costumes that she would put on. And I think that she wore those masks at the masquerades maybe because sometimes the last person that she wanted to be was herself.
I remember a few of those. And I remember you would always take her hats and wear them. It was quite amusing, actually. They were glorious, the masquerades. You know, I did get along with my mother very well, and my father. I was lucky in that way. I never got a chance to cremate them. I never held a funeral for my mother or father, my sisters. I just had to run away. So, I'm glad to have somebody, a family member, here with me.
No funeral for my father, none for my sister or my brother either. This is the first one we've been able to have for any Von Kessel since. There wasn't one for our aunt either. And
between you and me, Kat, let this be the funeral for all of them. Let this represent the goodbye that we never got to say to any of our fallen family members.
We had to say goodbye a long time ago in our hearts, you know that. But
I know.
At least this way. Well, maybe it could have been different. Now we'll never know.
We'll never know.
Might be too many bandits there.
How have you been?
To be honest, things just keep getting harder. I never really intended to be discovered. I was set on this course by wanting to help just wanted to help. I saw people in trouble. And my father raised me to help those that are in trouble. And so I tried my best, and I'm still trying my best. And without really knowing what was happening, I get thrust from one thing to another, and here I am. And at every turn, it just gets more and more complicated. And all I want, Kat, all I want is to just be a good person and do what is right and help people the way my father taught me to. I miss him, and I just hope he'd be proud of the choices I made. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I don't know if I'm proud of the choices I've made. All I can do is my best. But if you're asking me how I am, I'm tired but determined. I'm happy for the friends I've made and for the people I've helped, and sad for the mistakes and the losses. I'm here trying my best to do what's right, Kat. And I will keep doing that.
Pluto and Veo, you can see that Wilhelm is talking with Kat. What are the two of you going to do as you see this happen?
I'm like observing.
Daggers?
I'm literally just like
Oh shit.
tense. Like we've had the funeral, things are like that's happened, but like I will not take my eyes off of her. It's like there's like daggers from my eyes.
Okay.
I know it's hard, Veo, but this might be this might be her humanity. And I know we haven't seen eye to eye with her, but Ignatius compels me to forgive mostly anything but demons. And
Pluto, don't humanize her. Sebastian does that enough for all of us, okay? She has done so much that even in this moment, I'll give her this moment, but it doesn't mean I trust her. It doesn't
after
mean
today,
that, I'm gonna let her manipulate us again and again.
I think it seemed what she said, it felt genuine. And I think the opportunity to be here for her mother will go far. I think the decision was the right one.
I mean,
I know
not
you're
wrong.
reluctant,
You're
but
not
this could gain us some favor. She still will be a thorn, but maybe she'll just be a little easier to work with if we have to ever bargain with her again. I hope not.
She gets no fish from me. Zero positive intent. No.
Just grab some more
Fool me
herbs
once.
from
Fool me 10 more times. Shame on me.
fool my friend 11 more times on top of that.
Yeah. And that's just
That's
silly.
That's just their relationship.
That's just really on me.
Yeah.
So I'm not letting it happen again.
As the two of you converse, Kat turns to you, Wilhelm, and she says, The struggle is real, isn't it?
Yeah.
When all these things happened, tragedy after tragedy, I ran away from it for a long time as well. Where did you hide all these years?
I made some friends in a small town. I lived in the woods for a while.
Wonderful. I took a charter on a ship and sailed to the far continent for several years. After I left the academy. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I can
Do things very
speak.
differently over there. It's fascinating, actually.
I've only heard stories. I'd love to hear more about the far continent at some point.
I didn't stay long. Well, there was the business with Eliza and the academy. And when that all happened, that was before Uncle Manfred and Aunt Cecilia had their Taft. And when I went over the far continent, I thought, well, it'll be a change of pace. And then the war started there. And I thought, this is too much, I should go home. And of course, I came home to a war here too. They do things very differently in the far continent. But it's funny how I don't think that they're any better or worse than us for it all. It might be good for you to go and see it sometime. But maybe give it a few more years for all the things to die down there.
How are you?
I'd love to see it sometime.
What are you looking for?
Perhaps we can go together someday.
There are quite a few trainers
certainly.
available in Elwyn. Which one are you looking for?
I have to
I don't
ask,
know much about
Kat.
magic, but there's a mage named Zaldemar,
Queen
who
of
is staying at the
Thieves.
Lion's Pride Inn that could probably assist you.
What is that about? I won't lie, it's a bit of a interesting title to give oneself or to take. Are the
We
stories
mages
true?
have a task that needs doing. One that is vital to the safety of Stormwind and Elwyn
In
Forest.
truth,
Janaea
only a
Cannon
small
is the
number of them.
details. She studies
I
in
mean,
the
that's the
wizard's
power of a
sanctum
name
in
like the Queen of
Mage District
Thieves, isn't it?
Stormwind. You
It
should make your
invites
way
the
to
imagination to invent a much greater threat. And perhaps to underestimate the real threat. I realize,
Knowing-
though, that if I wanted to claim my birthright, that all the people here would think of me as a thief.
Your birthright.
Yes, my birthright.
What's that?
Well, Leonard's gone, and my father's gone, and so I am heir to the throne of Drakkenheim and Westamar. And given the ways that things have gone here, I can see that you're already laughing at me for that, but
Kat, there are many laws in place. You knew this from the time that you started to develop your magic, that you had a different path.
I thought so.
Greetings, mage.
But-
Shall I provide you with further insight into the world of magic?
Why
Well, I guess it's time for me to go to bed.
that someone else?
So I will see you guys tomorrow.
You were gifted with magic. You were to be trained. You could have been anything. You could have been a great mage of the academy. You could have done many great things with that power.
Yeah, good night. See you tomorrow.